Hey everyone, it's around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Perfect time, as you know, to do some maths. This is the first episode in the Insight series. Basically, I wanted to give a bit of a breakdown on a few mathematical concepts because I think a lot of people just tend to memorize maths facts, and that's how they kind of like went around their learning about maths. And I think having insight as to why something's true helps us really understand actually what's going on. So to kick us off in the first episode, I want to talk about why does it happen that when we times by 10, why do we end up basically adding a 0 to the end of the number? So you have to excuse me, I'm using my phone to record my notes. So, it's humble beginnings, but we'll see how this goes. Okay, so why do we add a 0 at the end of the number when we times by 10? So I'm talking just about timesing, let's say, whole numbers. So let's say 234. Okay, so if we times this by 10, okay, we'll end up getting, as you know it, 2,340. Okay, so we added a 0 there. But why does that actually happen? It's a pretty well-known rule, and it helps you out a lot later on. So it's definitely worth knowing. But we want to know why it works, what's going on under the hood. So basically the idea is that we need to go back to what place value is. Now, place value is something that you all do know, even though you may not know what it's called yet. But basically, if I write 234 again, let's just think about what we have in the number 234. So we have a 2, and then a 3, and then a 4. Now, our decimal system, our number system more accurately, is known as a place value system. So basically what this means is every digit that we write down in a number has a value, right? So this 4 is in the position that we call the 1 position. It's telling us that we have 4 ones in this number that we're going to basically add together to get the number. Now the 3 is in this position, okay? It's to the left of this one. It's obviously the 10 position. Most of you, I'm assuming, will know this. And this position is the 100 position. Now, the important thing to know is that the number on the top tells you how many of these, basically these coins, if you imagine it. Imagine these as coins. It's telling us how many coins we have. So this is saying we have 4 ones, 3 tens, and 2 100s, okay? So I'm literally going to write this out like this, okay? It's saying I have 2 100s plus 3 tens plus, and then we have as well 4 ones, okay? So we have the 4 1 coins, 3 of the 10 coins, and 2 of the 100 coins. Now, we're going to times this by 10, okay? So we want to prove essentially that we'll add a 0 at the end. But let's focus on this first. So essentially, 234, we can think of it as this from now on. So I'm actually going to write this further down. So actually, let me rewrite this number, but quite visually. Now, the reason why I'm going to do this is because if you can visualize something in maths, often it makes a whole lot of difference. So I don't want to just for this to be an abstract thing. I want you to actually visualize what's going on, and drawing out the coins as I'm about to do will make it much easier to see what's happening. Okay, so let me write 2 100s. Okay, so I have 2 100s there. I have 3 10s. So let me go and draw my 3 10s there, like so. Okay, so I have my 3 10s, and then I'm going to draw 4 ones. Okay, so now what we want to do, we now want to times both sides by 10. So I'm going to say, okay, I want 10 of these guys. 10 of these guys. Well, we knew that 2 3 4 was basically one of these guys. So I'm going to times this whole thing by 10. I'm just going to put brackets around. So look, 10 of these guys. Now, one of these guys is 2 100s, 3 10s, and 4 ones. Now, if I want 10 of those, I'm literally just going to imagine like this is a bag containing one lot of them. And I'm going to get myself 10 bags of these, okay? So I'm actually going to write down, and this is going to take for ages, so I will edit this, but I'm going to write down another one. 2 3 4 ones. Okay, so I've got 2 lots of 234. I'm going to write obviously a third lot, So let's just do that. Okay, so I'm writing my third lot there. I definitely need a stand for this handheld one I'm holding. It's ridiculous. Okay, I'm going to keep going. And I will come back when I've finished it. Okay, so I've got my 10 lots of 234. So isn't that a sight to behold? Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to cleverly group everything together. So you can see that the two 100s, right? I have 10 of these. 10 lots of 200, okay? But I'm basically going to categorize everything vertically. So each of those original coins I had in the first line, my 2 100s, 3 10s, 4 1s, each of those coins is going to form a group, okay? So I'm going to circle these and I'll show you what I've done. Oh gosh, this is so difficult to do with. Oh my gosh, I need an assistant or something. Oh my word. No, I can't get my thumb out of the way. Okay, excuse me. All right, I finally bagged them all together. Okay, so, and I really want you to think about what actually I've done. Now, because we had 10 lots of 2, 3, 4, we have 10 rows. Okay, so we have 10 rows of each of those coins. Now, for these 100 coins, if you think about it, I have 10 of these. Okay, so literally, I have 10. Oh, this is difficult to write. 10 lots of 100. Okay, there we go. So that obviously is 1,000. Okay, I'm not going to go over what that is, but that's 1,000. And actually, so we have 2 lots of that. Okay, so we have 2 lots of 1,000. Right, let me just write it underneath here. This is my 2 lots of 1,000. Okay, and the next one I have is, well, look, I have 10 lots of 10. Now here I have 3 lots of 100 because originally we had 3 10s, right? These are my 3 10s from the 234, and these have become, each of them have basically multiplied, right? We've got 10 lots of each. So I have, from my 3 10s, I now have 3 100s. Okay, let me circle these actually. 2 1000s so far, 3 100s, and finally, you guessed it, each of these 10 ones make 10. Okay, I don't want to patronize you, but just to recap, 10 lots of 1s is 10, right? 10 times 1 is just 1 of that number, 110. So I have 4 lots of 10, okay, here, right? Now, I'm going to add all these together, right? Because technically, overall, if we count up all my coins, this is my 10 lots of 234, because each line is 234. So eventually, I have 2 1000s, 3 100s, and 4 10s by just grouping them in the same way we kind of grouped the first line, right? 2, 3, 4. All right, now what we have basically is 4 10s, 3 100s, 2 1000s. And if you think about it, there are no 1 coins, right? We have no 1 coin. So you know what? We can add a cheeky plus 0 times 1. We have, this is what we get if we do 10 times 2, 3, 4. We get this. And clearly, you know, I just added my 1 coin there because it helps us write down the place value version of this number, right? So 0 1s means I have 0 in the 1 position, telling me I have 0 1s. I need to tell you that I have 4 10s, so I'm going to put my 4 in the 10 position, and here I'm telling you that I have 3 100s, and you guessed it, 2 1000s. And if you notice that actually what's happened, we start off with 2, 3, 4, and we've got a 0 at the end of it. Now if we go back to actually what was going on in the beginning, right, we started out with our 2, 3, 4, our number 2, 3, 4. We wanted to times it by 10, but actually before that we broke 2, 3, 4 down into different coins, okay, according to how many places there were. There are only 3 places in this case, so we didn't need to go higher than 100, okay? We're just happy dealing with 100 coins, 10 coins, and 1 coins. So we broke our number down into coins like that, and then we made 10 copies of it. For each coin, you basically, now there are suddenly 10 of those, okay? And each time you get a coin and times it by 10, because we are dealing with powers of 10, that's the numbers 1, 10, 10 times 10, 10 times 10 times 10, you know, those are the place values that we have. Each time a coin gets copied by 10 times, it basically, you times it by 10. So you're going the next one along. Okay, so this coin here, times it by 10, this coin here gets times by 10, you're going to get one of those ones. So if you think about it, your 4 ones became 4 10s, your 3 10s became 3 100s. Can you see how all of the numbers are shifting to the left, right? Because they're no longer saying you have 4 ones, they're no longer just saying that you have 3 10s. You're actually having 4 10s, 3 hundreds. You're basically having that many of the next coin along. And obviously there are no ones left, right? Because this wasn't a decimal, right? The lowest number here, the lowest value coin was your 1. So the lowest value in your new number is going to be a 10 coin. Okay, so there are no 1 coins. That's why we put 0 there. And that's basically why there's a 0 at the end of it. Okay, all the numbers are shifted to the left and you have no 1s left over. So it's kind of neat. Obviously this extends to just not just 2, 3, 4. We could have done any number, but the point is, you know, we could have done this with you can imagine doing this with any number, it would have worked. So that's basically it. And obviously the extension of this is if you have, instead of 2, 3, 4, let's say you had 2, 3, 4.2. Now this place here, okay, it's 0.1 or a tenth. Okay, a tenth is just 1 divided by 10. It's basically going to have the same effect as before when we make 10 copies of 0.1. 10 copies of 0.1 will give us a 1 coin. Okay, so we're still going to get that shifting pattern that makes all the digits move to the left. So in this case, basically all those digits move to the left to a bigger place, and you'll just get 2, 3, 4, 2. And so yeah, basically the extension of this rule is that with a decimal place you move it to the right, because everything relative to that is moving to the left. So thank you for listening. I'm sorry it was a bit awkward. It is my teething stage of recording videos. It's my first major time of doing it, so hopefully it's not all porridge. But yeah, thank you for listening, and stay tuned for the next Insight episode. Thank you.